Today's our lecture is on cell division. So we are going to learn about the cell division. What is the cell division? Okay. Before going to cell division, here you can see the different cells of different organisms. Here in this area, you can see here that this is the animal cell and this is the plant cell and this one is a bacterial cell. Okay, so this animal cell looks like different from the plant cell, and this is completely different from the both plants and animal cell. This is the bacterial cell. So if we say that both combinedly, these both are known as eukaryotic cells. But this one is known as a prokaryotic. What did I say to you? That these both plant cell and animal cells are known as a prokaryotic, eukaryotic cells, and this cell is known as a prokaryotic cell. So I told you the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes in the last lecture. That what is the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes? In prokaryotes, you can see here, you can observe that there is a nucleus in the animal cell and in the plant cell, this here. But there is no any nucleus in this prokaryotic cell, the bacterial cell. It is only, yes, Mama Noe, there is no any nucleus in the bacterial cell. Okay, there is only the chromosome. Single circular chromosome is present in the bacterial cell. No any other membrane of the nucleus or membrane bound organelles are present in the prokaryotic cell. But in the eukaryotic cell, all the membrane bound organelles and the other material is present in the plant cell and animal cells. So this is the difference between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. The thing which I wanted to show you that they all go for the division, cell division. The bacterial cell also go for the cell division. Plant cell and animal cell also go for the cell division. But the difference, there is some difference in these cell divisions are in these cells. We are going to learn about the difference between the cell divisions. Before going to go far, before going to understand the cell divisions, we are going to learn that types of the cell. We have already studied about the type of the cell. You can see here that the shape of the cell, muscle cell, is different from the nerve cell, sperm cells, skin cells, and blood cells. All the cells have the different shape. So how they go for the cell division? So we are going to learn about it. Starting from the cell division, we are going to define it that cell division is a process by which parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells. Okay, the cell division usually occurs as a part of the larger cell cycle. So here comes the two main things: cell cycle, which we study in the later in this lecture, and also we are going to learn about the daughter cells. Okay, so prokaryotic cells undergo for a vegetative cell division known as a binary fission, where their genetic material is segregated equally into two daughter cells. So we are going to learn about this binary fission and cell cycle, what is going on the cell cycle and how the cell divides to form the new daughter cells. Here in this picture, you can clearly observe that this is the single prokaryotic cell. This is not a nucleus, this is only a single circular chromosome, and this is the cytoplasm. And when it go for the division in the binary fission, what happens? The cell, this single circular DNA originates or copies or makes its own copies and produces here. Now there are two copies of single circular DNA. Then what will happen? This single circular DNA will go by poles and the space is formed between both DNAs. What will happen that from the space, both the cells are divided into the two new daughter cells. This is the simplest form of the binary fission, which occurs in the only prokaryotic cells, which are the bacteria. Are you getting my points, students? Unain? Yes, this is how our cells multiply. Right, Mohit. Okay. What about the Raza? Raza, do you understand? Okay. So we are again to the cell division. The cell may undergo the process after growing to the certain size is called the cell division. This reproduce and increase in number of the say by the cell division. It means that when the cell divide, it is in a smaller size. When it grows at a particular size, it undergo for the cell division. So why the cell divides? Cell divides because they go for the growth purpose and they increase the length and width of a particular organism. That's why the cell divides. Are this the cells small single cell divides to produce their new young ones? That's why the cells divide. The cell reproduce and increase the number by division. By the cell division, their number increases exponentially. During the cell division, first nucleus divides is known as a karyokinesis. Now here you can see this. There is a term used as a karyokinesis. What is karyokinesis? Karyo means nucleus and kinesis means breakdown. It means that first of all, when the cell division starts, the the nucleus divides itself into two halves. Then the cell divides into two halves. The division of the cell is known as a cytokinesis or cytoplasm, which divides the cell into the two halves. It means the cytokinesis. Cytoplasm divides by the process of cytokinesis and nucleus divides by the process of karyokinesis. Now we have understood that there are two major types of the cell division. One is mitosis and other one is a meiosis. Okay. Another type, there is another type, also there is another type which is known as a binary fission, which I told you earlier in this lecture, that how the single cell prokaryotic organism divide. Here the mitosis and meiosis both are the divisions of the eukaryotic cells, which I told you in the first slide that the eukaryotic cells are the plant cell and animal cell are the eukaryotic cells, while the bacterial cell is a prokaryotic cells. It means the plant cell and animal cell go for the division in the process by the process of mitosis and meiosis, while the other prokaryotic cell, which is bacterial cell, go for the process of binary fission. So Raza asked me the question that what is difference between the mitosis and meiosis. Raza, we are coming to the next slide and I will describe you what is the difference between the mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis occurs in the somatic cells and meiosis occurs in the germ cells. So we are going to explain it in our next slides. So you will clearly understand that what is difference between the mitosis and meiosis. Okay. Here you can see this that what is the difference between the mitosis and meiosis. If suppose there is a two number of chromosomes in there in particular organisms, what will happen? This chromosome makes its own copies same like this, and the Y chromosome also make its own copy. Then what will happen? Their spindle is formed and half of the chromosomes are divided into this part and half of the chromosomes are divided into this part. So then the cytokinesis occur and two chromosomes goes this side and two chromosomes go this side. Now you can see here that there were only two chromosomes, and in the final daughter cells also possess two daughter cells also have the two chromosomes. How? Because these two chromosomes made their own copies, and because of their copies two chromosomes have been formed. and therefore two new daughter cells have been formed. Here you can see this in the meiosis. There are four number of chromosomes, and they formed their four copies of their own. What will happen? They get the four number of daughter cells, but they have the two chromosomes each. So in the meiosis, they have the half number of chromosomes, while in mitosis, they have the full number of chromosomes inside their body. And these are present, the mitosis are present in the somatic cells. What are the somatic cells? Somatic cells are known as body cells, while these meiotic cells are occur in the germ cells. Germ cells are known as sex cells, which are in which the DNA is present and DNA is transferred from parents to their offspring. That's why they are present in the germ cells, and that's why they are in a half number, because the half number comes from the father and half number comes from the mother, and they join to form the full number. It means if these two are formed as a sperm and these two form as an egg, when they both combine, they form the four as the previous their parents have. That's why these have the two number of chromosomes, half number of chromosomes. Okay, so we will discuss the mitosis and meiosis in detail in our next class, tomorrow's class. Okay, day after tomorrow. Now, types of the cell division. I told you that the prokaryotes, such like bacteria, go for the cell division known as a binary fission. Prokaryotes are simple organisms with only one membrane and no division internally. Because there is no any nucleus, that's why there is no any karyokinesis, there is only cytokinesis. Thus, when the prokaryotes divide, it simply replicate their DNA and is split in half, which I told you in the first slide. So binary fission is a process, it is a little more complicated than this, which, as I told you, that they don't just only go into the two major halves, but there is some complication also. What are the complications? As the DNA must first be unwound by the special proteins. First of all, you know that this which chromosome or DNA which we observed in the prokaryotes is somewhat complicated, and it must be straightened with the help of proteins. And although the DNA in prokaryotes usually exists in a ring form, so it is quite tangled when it is being used by the cell. To copy the DNA efficiently, it must be stretched out. The two strands of DNA separate into two different sides of the prokaryote cell. The cell then gets longer and divides in the middle. Here you can see in this picture that how the DNA goes for the replication and how this DNA goes for, first of all, straightens and then make its own copies. Here you can see this is the bacterial cell and this one is a chromosome. Okay, this is the chromosome. This thing is the chromosome. Now here you can see this one is a previous chromosome, and this it has made its own new copy because now it has straightened enough to make its own copies. Now you can see here they have got separated from each other, and here you can see that the groove is formed between the cell, uh, between the center of the cell, and new two daughter cells have been formed in the end, and the chromosome again become tangled and becomes so much complicated. So you can see here that how the DNA forms its own copies. Here is no any karyokinesis, there is only cytokinesis, because there is only no any nucleus. That's why there is no any karyokinesis, there is only a cytokinesis. Okay, now we are coming towards the cell cycle, which I told you in the first slide that cell cell division doesn't only the just one part of the cell cycle. Cell division is a just part of the cell cycle. The cell cycle is a four-stage process consisting of G1, S phase, G2 phase, and mitosis. The G1 phase is known as a gap 1 phase, then synthesis phase, then gap 2 phase, and then mitosis phase, which I told you that what is the mitosis. An active eukaryotic cell will undergo these steps as it grows and divides. Okay, so all the steps should be carried out by one eukaryotic cell to be alive and give rise a new young cells, daughter cells. So all the stages should be passed by one cell. So how these stages look like? Look at here. This is the phase of the whole cycle. This is the S phase. This is the G2 phase, and this is the M phase. The G1 phase stands for growth, S phase stands for the synthesis, and G2 phase stands for the growth and preparation of the mitosis, and M phase stands for the preparation of the cell division. Okay, so we are going to study it more in detail. Now, what is the interphase stage? Here you can see this. Without M phase, all these phases are known as the interphase stages. It means the gap between the phases G1 phase and S phase and G2 phase and M phase all have known as the interphase stages. So the stages in the cells cycle between the mitosis and next, which include the G1, S1 and G2, are known collectively as a interphase. Now G1 phase is responsible for the cell increase in size and cellular contents duplicated, while the S phase is responsible for the DNA replication and also for the 46, for example, the 46 chromosomes, 23 pair of chromosomes is replicated by the cells. Now, what is the replication? This replication means the making the copy of the cell or DNA. This DNA replication means they are making their own copies. G2 phase stands for this, is responsible for the cell growth and also for the organelles and proteins develop in the preparation for the cell division. And M phase, as you all know, that is a mitosis phase, which is used for the cytokinesis and kinesis. Formation of the two identical cells. In the M phase, there are two identical phase daughter cells are being formed. Now in detail, if we study in detail about the G1 phase, the G1 phase or gap 1 phase is the first of the four phases of the cell cycle that takes place in the eukaryotic cell cycle. In this part of the interphase, the cell synthesis messenger RNA and proteins in preparation of the subsequent steps leading to the mitosis. Now here you are learning or listening the two different terms or new terms, messenger RNA and also the cell synthesis, which we will study in our next lecture. But I want to tell you that just like DNA, there is also the nucleic acid, which is known as a messenger RNA. This RNA, it means what messenger itself shows us that it takes the message from the DNA and gives the message to the cell organelles for the particular purposes. That's why it is known as a messenger RNA. The G1 phase ends when the cell moves into the S phase of interphase. Okay, now there is a S phase. S phase means the synthesis phase. It is the phase of the cell cycle in which cell is replicated, occurring between the G1 phase and the G2 phase. Since accurate duplication of the genome is critical to successful cell division, the process that occurs during the S phase are tightly regulated and widely conserved. So what will happen in this S phase? This is only purely responsible for the synthesis of the DNA. Our DNA is replicated. Whatever the DNA is formed during the cell division, this cell is replicated and DNA is synthesized in this phase. So this phase is responsible for this uh, uh, what we say that synthesis phase. There is what another phase is that students, do you hear my voice? Now there is a G2 phase. What is G2 phase? Okay, Raza. G2 phase or gap 2 phase is the third subsequent subphase of interphase in the cell cycle, directly preceding the mitosis. It follows the successful completion of S phase, during which the cell's DNA is replicated. The G2 phase is a period of rapid cell growth and protein synthesis during the cell prepares itself for the mitosis. Now, you learn that in the G1 phase, what will happen? G1 phase is a growth phase, G2 phase is a synthesis phase, and S phase is synthesis phase, and G2 phase is for the cell growth and protein formation. Okay, there is another uh, we are going to learn the M phase, which is known as a mitotic phase. The cell divides, it copied DNA and cytoplasm to make two new cells. Mitosis takes place in four stages. Prophase, sometimes divide into early prophase and prometaphase, and metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. It means that mitosis again divided into this four sub-stages, which we will study in tomorrow, day after tomorrow lecture, that there it has the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase stages. So we will discuss the complete mitosis or study complete mitosis in details. You can learn more about these stages in the video lecture day after tomorrow in this on the mitosis. Okay, so there is another stage which is not included in this cell cycle, which is this is known as a G naught or G0 phase. This G0 phase is known as a resting phase and is a period of the cell cycle in which the cells exist in a quiescent state. Quiescent state means they are cells itself exists in the bilkul silent state. The cell will go into the silent stage. The G0 phase is viewed as either an extended G1 phase where the cell is neither dividing nor the preparing to divide, or to distinct quiescent stage that occurs outside the cell cycle. So what we are saying, or what I am going to say you, or going to explain you, is that these this stage is can be viewed as the extra stage of this cell cycle, which can be obtained if the cell grows enough in a particular size and doesn't want cell doesn't want to go for the cell division further, then it go into the G0 stage. Then if again it wanted to go for the cell division, then it again return to the G1 stage. Then what will happen, that it will again go for the complete cell cycle. Now there is only it is only going for the four cell cycles, and G0 is a resting stage, which is a sub stage or an extra stage, we can say this. Okay, students, so there is you can see here the G0 gap 1 stage or G0 stage. Here you can see the arrow, which if the cell goes for the resting stage, then it will go here. Then otherwise it will go from G1 stage to the S phase, then G2, then mitosis, and the cell cycle will continue like this one. Okay, but the G0 or G naught stage is that stage which gives the gap the cell for make the resting for rest purpose for the cell and go outside for the particular time period in the from the cell cycle. This is our lecture which I discussed you the cell division. The whole summary of the cell division is that the cell divides itself to make its own copies, multiple copies, and in the all organisms, all the living organisms go for the cell division. If they don't go for the cell division, they will die. They will not uh, continue their progeny. So they need to go for the cell division to make their own copies. You can see from the prokaryotic cell, which is most primitive and most oldest cell, to the eukaryotic cell, which is most advanced cell, all the cells go for the cell division. But the the process of cell division may vary, and there are three main types of the cell division, which I told you earlier. Number one is a binary fission. Number two is a mitosis, and number third is a meiosis. Binary fission occurs only in the bacterial cell. We must remind that the binary fission is only occurring in the single-celled organisms, prokaryotic cells. Okay, while the eukaryotic multicellular organisms go for the mitosis and meiosis. Okay, Asad Amir asked me the question that what is the mitosis? Asad, mitosis is the division of the cells which occurs inside our body. When you were born, you were so small, your height was so small, but now you are uh, too much bigger than when you were born. So how you become the bigger? Because of this mitosis. When your body cells divide, continue dividing, they add up in your body and your body continues to grow and you become the uh, a bigger one from your older size. So as your body cells divide and divide continuously, you go for the in your bigger size. Yeah, just like in plants, you can see the small plant and it goes into the it convert into the complete tree for after 2 years or 3 years. How it is possible? Because of this cell division. Because of this cell division, plants go for the continuously cell division. That's why the plant grows in the length and width also. Okay, and in the meiosis, what happens? The meiosis, these are in the male. The meiosis occurs to form the sperms, and in the female, meiosis occurs to form the eggs. And there in the meiosis, what will happen in the males? The sperms contain the half number of chromosomes, and egg also contain the half number of chromosomes, and the both join to form the zygote, and the number of chromosomes again becomes completed. That's why the half number of chromosomes are present in the sperm and egg. Okay, so this is the cell division, and we will study the mitosis day after tomorrow and meiosis the next day after studying the mitosis. This is our the cell division topics. Today we studied the cell division, cell division, and also we studied the binary fission. Raza, why you are asking the Allah Hafiz? There is still we have remaining time. Don't say like that that you are going now is too much early before time. Okay, so we are I am going to ask you one question. Tell me the answer. What is in prokaryotic cell. Mohammed asked me a question that some people have a disease in which cells don't multiply. What is the name of the disease? Mohit, there is there is no any disease which can cause the person to not multiply. If the persons have the ability to, in their cells to multiply, they will multiply. But at certain time period, after certain time period, when they grow enough, they will stop the multiplying. Just like when you become elder, just like your father, they cannot grow further. They will stay same. But the cell division continues. But cell division continues. But it does not grow, but it only replaces the older cells. Okay? So there is no any kind of disease, but it's a normal phenomena. When the cell grows, it stops multiplying, or it stops to grow, but the multiplication is continues, but in slower motion. So I asked you, the prokaryotic cell is different from the eukaryotic cell because the nucleus is absent in the prokaryotic cell, or ribosomes are absent in the prokaryotic cell. So students all have completed the answers. Hunain is absent. Hunain is still remaining. Hunain, answer the question. Okay. So correct answer is nucleus is absent in prokaryotic cell. Okay. So students, have a nice day. I hope you understood it, all the lecture. If you have any query or any question, you can ask me. We can discuss it. Okay. Okay. Allah Hafiz, students. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz, Saad. Allah Hafiz. What is prokaryotic? Asad Amir asked me the question, what is prokaryotic cell? Asad, prokaryotic cells, uh, prokaryotic cells are those cells which do not have the nucleus, and they are most primitive cells. As I teach students, I think you came late, that's why you don't know about the prokaryotic cells. So I'm going to tell you uh, about the prokaryotic cell. This is, do you see the bacterial cell? Here there is a bacteria cell. This is a plant cell and animal cell. The bacteria cell is known as a prokaryotic cell because it don't have the nucleus like plant cell or animal cell. You can see here there is no any nucleus. This is only a DNA present in the cell. That's why this is known as a prokaryotic cells. Pro means first, karyon means nucleus. It means there is before nucleus. This cell is a present have the no nucleus, don't possess the nucleus. It has cytoplasm, ribosomes, and the what we can say, the DNA. There is no any other organelles are present like these cells. This is most primitive and most uh, oldest cell. This is known as a bacterial cell. That's why we call it the prokaryotic cell. Okay, yes, sir. Any other question? Chromosomes. Chromosomes are the hereditary material which are transferred from the parents to their offspring, and chromosomes are made up of DNA. Okay, so DNA combined to form the chromosomes, and this chromosome encodes the particular characters which are uh, transferred from parents to their offspring. Just like your uh, face shape, your eye color, your nose shape, your uh, face style, how all resembles with your father or your grandfather because of those chromosomes which are transferred from your parents. Okay, that's why you look like your father, your mother, or your grandfather or grandmother. Okay, any other question, Asad? Asad, you are asking me the question cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a fluid-like material. You are not present in the last lecture. I teach the students about the cytoplasm. It was a whole lecture that cytoplasm is a fluid-like substance which is present inside the cell. You can see here this whole uh, blue color which show where the red and white and this gray color is present. This whole blue color is the cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like substance where all the material is present, and all these things are present because there is a much water present in this cytoplasm to provide the medium for the chemical reactions, biochemical reactions, and other activities also. Is it clear, Asad? Okay. Any other question? Okay. And Allah Hafiz. See you tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Okay. What about the Saad? Saad, do you have any question? Okay, then Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.